Hello. In about 36 hours till I fly to Key West and go on vacation. I hope to rest. I don't know. I don't got much money to take with me. Just eat cheap street pizza. Maybe rent a bike. Just do a lot of walking and get some sunshine and just take it easy. Always in deep thought, doesn't matter where I am. There's upsides to that and downside to that. Hey, here's a question. Now that there's more security here in the United States, relatively so, compared to what there was, how come it feels like things are even closer to the edge globally? Yeah, they absolutely do seem that way. By the way, I saw the UK head honcho, Keir's, Mr. Starmer. He was in the White House, and J.D. Vance lit into him about absence of freedom of speech. And old Starmer guy said, "We have freedom of speech in the UK." Not from what I've seen. I'm sorry about that. One of the craziest ideas and one of the most amazing things I've seen, and that's in a bad way. Said Orange Man said that the U.S. will move forward with a cryptographic strategic reserve that includes XRP, SOL, and ADA. He specifically said a U.S. reserve, and I call these trash coins because it is trash, will elevate the critical industry after years of corrupt tech from the prior administration. My executive order on Digital Assets Directive from the Presidential Working Group will move forward, yada yada. By the way, right after that, Peter Schiff said, I wonder how much money was just made by people who knew that the Truth Social post was coming in advance, loaded up on XRP, SOL, and ADA, and already cashed out. You know, this is something I don't hear anybody mention. You know, and think about this. The mere mention of these hype coins, what they should be called, I don't want to call them trash coin or hype coin. I like a hype coin better. Shouldn't have any effect on its value, but it does. When you mention gold, it doesn't go up or down in value. It's just gold. When you mention bread, you know, it doesn't make it go up and down. Only when you mention hype coin does it affect the actual value, somebody of importance, shall we say. If this was ever proof that this was a rug pull pile of nonsense and hype coin itself, worst idea I've ever heard of. By the way, a lot of people were confused, thinking it possibly couldn't be real, but Starmer, getting back to that human being, is talking about enforcing a peace deal without Russia. That's Russian for Russia. He's talking about, I saw the video several times, where they're not going to negotiate with Russia. I wonder how Mr. Keir and the British citizens feel about this, considering that UK citizens are effectively wage-earning peasants. And of course, most Americans are pretty much in the same boat. By the way, this just happened yesterday. There was a British ship docked at the port of Odessa in Ukraine. And it was carrying a military hardware from the Brits. I said, fellow. So Russia decided to lob one over, and it sunk the British ship. I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know if it's exciting or... I certainly don't blame Russia for doing it. I wonder what the British citizens think about all of this. They just feel like everything is completely out of their hands, which of course it is. By the way, the scuffle between the Orange Man and the little Z Man the other day in the White House, it seems to be completely staged. You tell me what you think. Even Orange Man said that this was great TV right at the time it was happening. U.S. is... Here's a theoretical, but there has been updated news just a few hours ago. Apparently, and I don't know if this is going to work out, little Z-Man says he's willing to sign the minerals deal. So here's the scenario, since this seems to be totally staged. We don't know how that breaking information is going to pan out. The U.S. pulls all funding for Ukraine. I like to say Ukraine because that's how it's pronounced. Not English, obviously. Then Russia runs roughshod all over Ukraine. The United States and NATO declare a danger over the actions of Russia. We fire up the military machine, and the Fed churns out X number of hundreds of billions of dollars, and then we go full throttle on Russia. This feeds a lot of powers. It gives a lot of kickbacks. This seems, I don't know if this is a scenario, but that little scuffle between Little Z-Man and J.D. Vance and Orange Man seemed completely staged. Tell me if I'm wrong on that one. What was supposed to be a tense but diplomatic meeting to discuss the minerals deal quickly spiraled into chaos, with Orange Man accusing Little Z-Man, I like saying Little Z-Man, of gambling with WW3, and Little Z-Man warning the United States would feel it in the future. Then Mr. Vance came forward. So, Mr. President, referring to Little Z-Man, I think it's disrespectful of you to come in the Oval Office, try to litigate this in front of the American media. J.D. Vance said to Little Z-Man, you should be thankful for the President bringing an end to this conflict. They did, and the White House came out very shortly afterwards, confirming that they intentionally kicked Little Z-Man off the White House grounds and out of the White House. So that was pretty heated, but it seemed perfectly staged. If there's ever conflict, and there always are conflicts and discussions, this happens behind closed doors. It's just, this was done for sake of the media to stir up the fact that the powers that be, and it obviously includes the Orange Man and J.D. Vance, are making a move, and it wanted to be public. Otherwise we'd have to infer and guess. It's like, well, it's been called off. Well, why was it called off? You do something for the media and all the cameras were there. You don't even have to say anything. You stage this show, and there's not really any questions. Everybody saw what happens. I kind of find it interesting. Everything's split across party lines. IQ is the guilty party. Whether it was the Orange Man or the ungrateful and, scruffy, roughy Little Z-Man. So everybody's kind of, depending on how intelligent they are and what side they sit on, they're pointing the finger at them or they're pointing a finger at them. Here's the lesson that nobody's talking about, and I find it very interesting and it's a lesson to all of you, especially the folks in Australia who gave them up. None of this would have happened if Ukraine didn't give up their atomics. Back in 1994, Ukraine agreed to transfer these devices, I'm going to use the word devices, to Russia to dismantle, and it became party to the Treaty of Non-Proliferation. In exchange for economic compensation to Ukraine and assurances from Russia. I'm sorry, having lived in Russia for quite a long time, I'm going to have to pause a second when I read the words assurances from Russia. Assurances from Russia, yeah. Do you know that Ukraine was briefly the third largest atomic power in the world for a brief period of time? Do you think any of this would have transpired if Ukraine didn't give them up? It would not have happened. This is not breaking news, but it's something that apparently most people are not aware of. And this is very unfortunate. Someone that does a lot of deep thinking and writing and whatnot, that being me. Humans don't respect intellect, most of them. Humans don't respect wisdom, most of them. They unfortunately only respect force and power. This is very unfortunate, but it's also, too, 1,000% undeniable. 1,000%. I hate to tell it to you also, I've been to Ukraine um, several times. I've been to Odessa, Simferopol, Yalta. I love Ukraine. It's very beautiful. I get along great with Russians and Ukrainians. There's tons of Ukrainians here in my town in Lexington. I see them all the time, every time I go to Costco. They're really easy to spot. They look like well-adjusted Americans from the 1960s. I hate to tell you this, but nobody in our government, or even NATO for that fact, cared about what happened over there. We never cared. This idea like, oh, you know, the poor folk, we're going to help them out. We're going to send over a gazillion tons of, you know, military hardware and money. It's only been a proxy conflict to weaken Russia. That's all it's been. I love the Ukrainians. I love them a lot more, and Russians also, than most Americans because I know them, you know, quite well. But our government nor NATO ever cared about them. It was a proxy conflict. By the way, Tulsi just today, she went full throttle on little Z-Man. You know, the idea that it's a democracy there, because he's canceled elections. He's had his opposition thrown in the clink. Shut down churches. He's got total government control of the media. Little Z-Man just a few days ago got so mad at Orange Man that he blocked Truth Social from being looked at in the country of Ukraine. This website's blocked. When all these people keep talking about the democracy over there, I just kind of want to know what it is they're referring to. I really do. Even though things are becoming more stable here, we're getting poorer. I certainly know I am. I had to borrow money to take this vacation. I would have canceled it, but it wouldn't let me. I could have canceled the airlines, but the airlines was only like 10% of this trip. So I couldn't cancel the hotel. I just see people getting more and more on edge. I know you see it because I'm extremely observant. I can be both in deep thought and be extremely observant about what happens around me. And it's not good. Everybody keeps complaining about egg prices, but all the people that actually raise hens and provide eggs say there's no actual shortage. All the people that are providing eggs, even big suppliers, there's no actual shortage at all. I don't know who's getting rich off of that. You know, you take your pick. The grocery store, unlikely, no. The supplier, very likely. The egg farmers, I don't know. I don't pretend, nor do I wish to speculate on that. I feel extremely sad for what's happening in UK. I mean, I'm part British. I've never been there. I'll probably never be able to go there because it's too expensive. But the tyranny, the things that I've seen. One white guy was getting cuffed in the street, and another one was filming it recently. And all he was doing was waving a Union Jack flag. You know, that would be like somebody getting arrested in the United States for doing nothing other than, you know, waving the American flag. I mean, it's just unconscionable. It's just unconscionable. By the way, I have several of these all over the house. People want me to make videos on them. I don't know if you ever want me to. They're actually dowsing rods. I actually know how to use them, especially when I had to look for things, like little tiny items. I have made a video in the distant past on how to do dowsing. I just wanted to mention that since I saw them off in the corner of my eye. I was using them to look for something in the house a few days ago. The UK has openly declared full outright's not a word, I know. Full outright, I'll edit that out of this video. Full outright conflict with Russia. I want to know what the Europeans and the Americans, and especially the Brits, think of that. UK is extremely close. I know the hardware that the UK has, but it's nothing compared to the hardware that Russia has. It's just nothing. It's like, what do the higher ups, the muckety mucks of the UK, know that I don't know? Do they think that NATO's going to back them, or the United States has got their back? If they tick off Russia enough, there's nothing the United States is going to do or not do that'll keep Russia from interdicting the United Kingdom. On what front that presents itself, I certainly don't want to speculate. Everybody's been cheering since the last election. I don't know about everybody. A lot of people have just greater security here in the United States. And that has nothing to do with politics, even though it does, kind of. More than kinda. People just want to be able to pay the bills and buy groceries and make ends meet and, buy some Christmas gifts and be left the heck alone. And that's all 99% of people want. And when the last straw that breaks the camel's back happens, and people can't do most of those things anymore, then the people that were quiet the whole time stand up. And I don't know if people are prepared for that. It's like when the people that only wanted, there's even a meme about this, when the people that only wanted to be left alone, you won't leave them alone, and you won't let them, no matter how hard they work, they can't make two ends meet, and they can't pay the bills and provide for their family. That is when I thank my lucky stars that I've seen this coming for many years in the distant past and been preparing for same. Food, power, electricity, other things. And, the different person that entered the White House, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is you think is going to happen or what sort of power that they have, but there are a lot of people collectively and individually that have more power and make things happen that, it really hasn't thrown a monkey wrench into the overturning, the flipping of the egg, if you will, of society. I'll say it again, I haven't said it in like a year, is that society is the thinnest crust that sits over top of the largest, most dangerous volcano imaginable. It's kind of like someone said, what do you think of when you think of a volcano? Like Kilauea. What do you think of when you think of super powerful, super destructive, super volcano? I don't know. Yellowstone National Park. It's all calm and beautiful, but right underneath is a cauldron that would literally change the temperature of the earth by 5+ degrees and bring on a new set of dark age. It's, more and more evidence shows that the dark ages literally were dark. They were extra cold, and people couldn't grow food that could normally grow food, and the dark ages literally were dark. I can't remember the volcano out in the Pacific that caused, presumably, the dark ages. It wasn't Santorini, which is in Europe. I can't remember the name of the volcano, excuse me, it escapes me at this point. I knew immediately when I saw the kerfuffle between Orange Man and Little Z-Man that it seemed completely staged. And I'm working out the chess moves, because they're always, plotting and scheming. Trying to work out the chess moves of what seems most likely behind that, since it is very blatantly and obviously staged. All of a sudden, Little Z-Man, he met with the King of England, and with that freedom-loving guy, Mr. Starmer, a true patriot of freedom he is, met with him, and I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. What's happening now is, because right after that, old Kier came out and he made a declaration of, outright conflict with Russia. You tell me what you think. I'm going to continue to pack and to get ready. I can't afford to go on vacation, but I've been trying to take one for half a year. I'll catch you in live stream this evening. Sorry if this video is slightly different than the ones I normally make on the subject. I've been in deep thought about a lot of different things, and always trying to stand on the shoulders of giants and see further down the road than other people and to see what's coming so I could be prepared for same. Ultimately, you know, you're not going to get out of this life alive. Nobody is, including me. I understand that. I'm not stupid, obviously so, but I like to be able to see off into the distance, further than most people, because that has a huge benefit. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Oh, check out my Substack. Yeah, the link is below. It's totally free. I'll have a lot of articles there and a lot of audio. I'm going to make some audio too while I'm on vacation. I'll just be on vacation for like 8.5 days, but oh well. Thank you.